company. You don't spend it. You don't use it. Yeah, you don't spend the VAT. You don't play with it. You don't use it. You have a specific dedicated account where you put systematically any VAT that you're getting for the client.
Yeah.
This money, quarterly or monthly or yearly, you need to give it back to the government, and you cannot play with it. If you don't give back the VAT, they can close down your company right away, and they can pursue you individually. There is no company shield for tax money that the company doesn't pay. So the company shield,
there's no place to hide.
Yeah. You can't hide. The company shield, the company shield doesn't work for any money you owe to the government. That's a key thing. Because when you don't pay the taxes from the government, it's seen as a management mistake. So you're fully responsible for the management mistakes that are going to kill the company.
Yeah.
So once you have those VAT taxes paid on a quarterly or whatever, you pay any expenses, you pay the gross wages of your employees, and the money left, you pay taxes on that. And this money left,
can we try to do it with the real numbers we have to try to put? Because I think I understand, but to put in reality, to go back to the Excel and to do the action, I think it will take more than just understanding it in the surface. I think I need your help literally to do the actual steps in the Excel.
Let me think. The problem is, for this part, you need an accountant. I can't do that. I don't have enough knowledge to do something as precise as that. For example, I don't know the wage percentage for the type of people you're going to employ. I don't know the tax rate in revenue for companies in France. I don't have the knowledge on that. So I can give you the rules. I can accompany you and discuss with an accountant to be sure. But you need to find an accountant, probably through IMM or something like that, to just do the figures.
Okay.
I can help checking this Excel sheet to see if something is missing. Have you forgotten to some spending in marketing, some spending in renting an office, some spending in internet or hardware? Have you thought about how you're going to sell? You need more people, But when it comes to putting this into the real accounting forms to get the real, what we call the balance sheet, basically.
Yeah.
You have the real balance sheet. I'm not capable of doing this.
Yeah.
I can review it once it's done because I have enough understanding, but I'm not capable of doing it literally. I won't be good for that. I'm not capable. I don't have. I've done it like too long ago. I'm not. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah. And you said
to go back to the explanation. Once you have paid the taxes for the income taxes, so the money left is basically the benefits. So these benefits,
the profit,
the profits. So these profits, you have three choices. The first one is you keep it. Well, four choices. First one, you keep it. The second one is you pay dividends to the shareholders. You're not obliged to do that. The third one is you invest it to something else, like, I don't know, the company decide to buy stocks from Oracle or to buy an apartment or whatever the company wants to do. The fourth one is you reinvest it in something else, like marketing, R&D, employments, hardware, whatever is necessary to accelerate the development, right? And so this reinvestment of what you do with the money, of course, the investors are going to be very interested to see how you want this to happen, etc. And that's why it's important that in the spendings, you need also to put your own salaries, yours, of you two guys. It's easier to see that in a salary term, saying I have a salary of this, it's included, Then in dividends, because then it gives the impression to the investors that as soon as the company is going to make benefits, we're going to suck up the money from the company, right?
Yeah.
So
No,
that's
it's not.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So and the salary you're thinking of needs to be realistic between something that is sustainable for you to live, because if you cannot live properly, the company will not grow. So that's a key point. Like if you, for example, you see investors and you tell them, for 1 year, I'm not paying myself. The guys are going to think, that's wrong, bad point, because, how can you live without money? Nobody can. So you will be doing something else to be able to live. Because if you're rich, well, guess what? You don't need investors. Okay?
Yeah.
So you need to think about that one and include in the expenses your proper salaries as well. Does it make sense, Juan?
Yes, makes sense. And can we go to the Excel and see if all what you just mentioned makes sense for you in what we have right now?
Yeah, of course.
Karim,
You have access to the file. You don't need to share the screen. Don't worry. Karim, you have access to the file. I think you already got inside.
Yes. Here.
Can we just look inside and try to tell us? I'm going to tell you exactly what are the global cost. Is the yellow one. Is the yellow at the bottom. Is the second one in order from left to right, and in there it is also by years. If you go really well to the left, you will see all the categories starting in the line 21.
No port, retail, airports, reporting. Correct? Okay, let me check that.
Change.
So one thing also, unfortunately, my friends, you will need to have everything in English.
Yeah.
So I'm checking costos, necessary or discretional. Let me try to see this in a smaller view. I'm on global costs right now.
Yes, good. I see where you are located.
You're following me. So this is year what?
2021.
How do I know?
Because in the column F and G, you have the number. And if you move to the right,
row 18.
Oh, okay.
If you scroll rightwards, you will see like the other years.
Okay, so let's go a bit deeper. Can you explain me? Can you explain me what are the figures in column H? 99, 12, 21, 37, 27, 3, 102.
Those are key figures that are coming from just to control ourselves. What are we doing? And just to know what it is over there. For example, over there you have humans. Humans is literally all the talent of people in this column for that particular year.
Wait. When you say over there, where over there?
Can you see what I'm marking right now?
Not
In
now.
blue?
Here, yes, technology. Yeah.
No, I'm not in. Well, no, this column. Yes, this one is you are talking about this column, right?
Well,
Age.
Wait.
The human talent. That is the human talent in euros. for that year.
So it means that column H, line 6, you're gonna spend 27,000 in sales with 2 guys. Correct?
Yes. Not 2 guys, is in total, the team here is, yes, commercial will be 2, but also we, which is key employees, are ourselves. So we'll be a team of 4 people.
Okay. And then you have 2 people in marketing and 5 people in technology.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a total. So you're gonna have basically a total spending of 102,000 for human resource in 2021.
Yes.
Okay. Then Okay. So what I understand is in 2021, what is this tax 0.35% here?
For the salaries.
That's the tax related to the salary, yes.
Oh, okay, understand. So basically, you're gonna spend $160,000 in expenses
in total for this year. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, I get it. And now below is what?
What do you think should be a normal salary? As you
Wait.
mentioned.
Just let's keep going. I'm going down in line 94, 97, etc. So what is this?
What is this? What?
Here.
Daddy, and 110?
All this.
What is all this?
Can you see what I'm doing here?
Yes. The cost, well, okay, all that.
Yes.
This is, for example, what is the money we expect to spend in lawyers? One in France, what we're going to spend in France, and what we're going to spend in Spain.
Okay, but then is it added to the expense on the top of the 160?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So in that case, do you have somewhere the total of what you think you're going to spend in 2021?
Age 17.
So if it's age 17, I don't understand why. Age 18, you mean? Age 18.
17.
17. Yeah, you were right.
No, age 17 for me is empty.
Sorry, how so? No, yes. Age and 17.
No, the one below.
17 age.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Okay, cool. But then this figure here is a total, but I don't understand what is in line 21 to 90 something. You said
all this is a summary of what it is below. So in below the 21 and everything going down is absolutely all details. What you see in the upper line, so in the 16 and everything in the top, are just summaries, little summaries of key figures we want to follow up.
Yeah.
Understood. So basically
broken down.
All right, D27. Okay, cool. Like it. Understood. Great. So this is all right. Okay, understood. All right, and then you have the same for 2022, and the same for 2023, and the same for 2024 and 2025. Cool.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So really, from what I see, there are 2 options. Not 2 options, but in terms of potential mistakes. First, have you missed something in those elements here? That's something you haven't thought about that you should put, that is probably important, that you could have missed. Something that is either I don't know. Do you need a printer, or do you need again an office? Do you need to run someplace somewhere? those kind of things. That's the first thing, because from what I see, it's very detailed, and it's doesn't seem that something is missing, but you know, it could happen.
Yeah,
But
could
from
be more.
what I see, that it's already very detailed, and that's good enough. That's the first thing. Second thing is to show the progression on all those different elements, but by year or by quarter. Like for example, when you give the progression of revenue and the progression of expense, it's probably important on another graph to say, well, how many people will be in sales and how many people will have globally per year. So you can have a pie chart per year of how are the people, how are the expenses spread, you know? So complementary,
Okay, yeah.
complementary to this,
Got it.
you can have a pie chart of different things.
How much we spend on technology, on marketing, on
Exactly.
sales.
So
Yeah.
shape round. So you have a first pie chart on for year 2021, 2022, 2023. What does it give in terms of how is the spending spread? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
And then you can have another one on how many people do you get? You know, how is the staff spread as well? You know, so it's about the staff as well. So because when you have this vision based on your figures, then you can find discrepancies saying, hey, this is not normal. Actually, from 2023 to 2024, we are predicting a revenue increase of 50%, increase only by one guy or two guys. So it's just a good way to think back, and it's once it's done and it's consistent, it's much better for the people to understand those. And if they want to dig into the figures, well, they can have them, but they have the vision on something which is more summarized. Okay, and you can have the same pie chart on revenues. Where are the revenues coming in? Is it at the beginning? Because it could change throughout the different years, or it could be just the harbors at the beginning, and then just share coming from the shops, the restaurants, etc. is going to increase more slowly. But after 3 years, it will be a big share, but it will have taken 3 years of ramp up. Whereas that's this. And also the last thing is, I hope I'm not speaking too fast. So it's a good thing that you're recording, Juan.
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. The other thing you can do that can be interesting is have another graph that is something home. So here the time. So you can have a graph on the progression on the number of clients per industry you're aiming. So harbors, cities, number of, those kind of things. If it makes sense, I think it does.
Which kind of graph would you use? Like a bar graph or?
More a bar graph for that one. And the last thing you can do is calculate the progression you target in terms of average size deal per industry. Like for example, do you target to have the average size deal to increase because you're going to target bigger and bigger harbor, or because you think at some point you're going to increase the prices? These kind of things. So the average size deal is also important, but by industry, because the average size deal for the cities is not going to be the same than for the harbors, than for the restaurants and the people who want to be in the system, right? So do you want to have an attractive price for the first year, and then the pricing changes after the year 2 or not? So the average size deal is going to increase, meaning that you're gonna have a ramp up, plus you will have even more money because the average size deal is getting bigger for any reason. So with those graphs, you're gonna have a lot of tools to explain the strategy, and those graphs should be based purely and solely. They should not be made manually. They should be in Excel, automated based on your figures, so that when you change the simulation, the graph are changed, and you can see this makes more sense.
Yeah.
Can you help us to do in your PowerPoint the a little like this, just done on the air, the type of graph, and after we're going to have the time to do it in Excel properly, but can you try to do this mock-up of what you think is absolutely, like you did before, absolutely interesting to see, and what do you think could be normal to see?
I think, as I told you, I think it's really the pie chart explaining how the expenses are spread. So
Yeah.
it's expenses. Where is it? Set text. Put some text. I don't know how to put some text in this thing.
Can you?
Yeah, we could put the age like this, all these.
Well, it's basically taking this. You have already the percentage here.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
putting this into an image. That's all.
yeah, yeah.
Right?
It's clear.
Yeah. So that you have really the categories, because what is important is to see how this is going to evolve from 1 year to another year.
Yeah.
You can see it by by this, doing it manually, of course. Like for example, on year 2, on year 1, you have 18% on the commercial side. On year 3, 33% because you're investing. Okay. On year 4, but then by seeing it on a graph, it's more visual about what it means, and then you can think, hey, it's really, seeing a figure is good. Seeing it in a chart is much more revealing of something which should be like that. Unless you're an accountant, people don't read figures properly. So it's just that. So expenses, that's the first thing. And then revenues, where is the revenue coming from? And then the other thing, which is probably interesting, less important, but probably interesting, is like the evolution in terms of number of people, and in pie chart about, how many people do you have in sales? How many people do you have, sales versus marketing versus because at some point you could decide to increase a lot the investment in marketing for any reason. Like, for example, you think you have enough arbors and you want really to market to the cities and to the restaurants. You put a lot of pressure on the restaurants to get smaller tickets, but a lot of them. So the investment in marketing, because it's more B2C, is going to be way more important. So you're going to see an explosion in your marketing. And in the pie chart, you will see something really different.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a question. If it is not B2C, you need to see not marketing. What do you need to see?
I don't understand the question.
If you have B2B,
Yeah.
it's not B2C. B2C equal explosion in marketing. But in B2B, the explosion in what?
It can, well, it's less an explosion
Traveling?
because it's less an explosion because it's you need to do less marketing to less marketing to people. The type of marketing is different, right? But normally what happens even in B2B is you're gonna keep increasing in marketing and sales. That's gonna be your main factor of investment. Marketing, sales, and R&D, of course. If you don't invest in R&D, potentially in 4 years you might be caught up by a competitor who has taken over another type of technology which is faster because the backbone is faster or whatever reason. So you need to keep investing in more features, more agility, or whatever that makes your product still attractive. Or you don't, and then in 4 years' time you decide to sell to someone else who will do it for you. So that's a point too. And what is your exit strategy?
We need to have one
Should
strategy of
we?
exit. We need to show one exit strategy.
Well, normally an investor will ask that, especially in a harbor, putting 100,000. They might ask you, how can we be sure that you don't want to sell in 2 years' time? Unless they don't care, that's a possibility. But when you start talking to customers, to investors, sorry, the exit strategy is something you need to have in mind.
For us or for the investor?
Well, both. The investors, you need to be clear about what do they want for the money they put in, and when do they want to get back their shares, their money. For the harbor, it's a bit different because they want to help a startup, so they might be just willing to be in the story, and that's good because it's an easier shot, it's an easier discussion for the beginning. But let's say you've talked to a real between bracket investor. The guy is gonna tell you, well, I'm putting down 100,000. In 5 years, I want 700,000. How do we make that happen?
If you go into the role of the investor and you try to do one full, 100% full the role, what do you think we are missing here in spending money to assure the quality, the sales? What do you think we could be missing?
The only thing I don't see is I don't see a lot of money in traveling, and I'm suspecting that you're gonna spend a lot of time traveling to convince clients. Unless you don't need because you have people in the different countries. In that case, it's okay. But the traveling expenses could explode. That's one point. It's not a big thing, but that's the first thing. Second thing I'm thinking of is this is you're seeing here revenue. You're mixing revenues from Spain and from France, but the question is this revenue going to only one company or not? Because if you're mixing up revenues from different countries, it means that here we're speaking about one single entity. When I read that, I'm speaking a legal entity, meaning that.
Are you talking about sorry, which slide in particular? Sorry, which part? Because I don't see, you are, I think, in the cost.
It doesn't matter. I'm seeing here that you're mixing. Basically, what I see here is you're mixing the figures from whatever happens everywhere, right? It's people from France, people from
yes.
everywhere, right?
Yes, it's true. Yes.
So when I see that, what I read, I understand is this company that is going to requesting for investment has activities in France and in Spain, and is getting revenues and expenses centralized in one entity. Where is it based? If the investor is in France, he's gonna willing to have the company based in France. So what I'm reading here when I see that, if I'm thinking that you're talking with these figures to the harbor of Marseille, is you're telling them my company in France is gonna be spending money in France and in Spain to be able to gather revenue, and then all the revenue will be on French accounts in this legal French entity. Otherwise, if it's not that, you cannot put all the figures here.
Yeah, it's not like that. Yeah.
If it's two different legal entities, that's gonna drive other questions, because the investor just wants to see things that he has action on. He's going to put down money in a legal entity. He's going to request some shares of this legal entity, and he will have just payback from the revenues of this entity, not any other entity. And if the entity in Spain is different legally, it won't be able to, even the question, is it going to be a subsidiary? If it's a subsidiary, that's fine. But if it's a different entity, completely different entity, that's something else. So you need to be very cautious on this point.
Yeah.
You cannot say my company is gonna make 1 million euro if actually 500,000 from this is gonna be held legally into an account
Place
owned from a Spanish company that doesn't have any legal link with the French company and is not even a subsidiary. If it's a subsidiary, that's fine, but you're gonna double down on the accounting cost for nothing, especially when you're small. So you need to be really clear on what is the legal entity, what are they doing, what is their link, who's the master, what happens if and once this discussion starts, it can drive a lot of questions. Like, what happens if the Spanish company suddenly decides to I don't know, stop selling, stop. I know the owners are the same, probably, I guess, but it can raise a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So either you don't speak about it at all because it's not linked, but if you speak about it, it better be linked, because if it's not linked but you speak about it, it's inconsistent. It's like to give you another example, I can borrow some money from a French bank to buy an apartment in France. I cannot borrow French money from a French bank to buy a house in Canada. I'm Canadian, but the financial system are not linked. They're completely, they're completely disconnected.
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing here is our idea is like to have, like, for the moment, two different companies, one in France and the other one in Spain, and in the next month the idea is to create like a holding company which will be the owner of the regional or the local companies, the French one and the Spanish one.
So
but
in
the
that case,
the Portuguese say is only investing in the French one, not the Spanish one.
So in that case, it's becoming, so sorry to say that, guys, but here you need a legal advice, and you need a very clear legal advice before signing any paper with investor. The investors need to know exactly where they're putting. You're totally allowed to have a holding company, and it exists, allowed to have a holding company. Investor and where are the investors putting the money for what? Now the question is, why do you have a holding company? What is the role of the holding company? What is this? What is the level of decision of the holding company? Why in the first place do you need that? And this, when it is clear, this will be very easy to explain to the investors where they need to put down the money as an investor. But it has to be very clear about the reasons.
Yeah, the idea is to centralize like the knowledge, the technology.
Yeah, but then why don't you do it right now?
Because right now is pretty expensive.
Well, but you have an investor putting down some money, so you're better off saying we need to do this for this reason. That's also part on the expenses we need for the very first year, and then count this on the investor or in the spending. But if you start, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Because then if you do it after, it's gonna drive more accounting problems. Once the accounting clock, once you start having an accounting system in place to gather the money, to pay the expenses, to pay the taxes, to do this, to do that, it's very difficult to do mergers, to do different things. I did it. I had a subsidiary in the States for 2 years. I had to have an accountant there. I needed to have a different accounting system, retrieving the data, sending it to the accountant in Canada to do the global accounting for the mothership in Canada. So you handle two different accounting systems. You need to have a good reason for that. If the company, and I don't know, but then think about something else. If the company is, you are in Europe, why Europe is Europe, right? So why having a company in France and a company in Spain when actually I can have a European company selling in France and in Spain? Is it based in Spain?
The thing is that we start in a rocky way, because according to each smart port or Porto 4.0 or so on, each destination, let's say each place, they want a legal company to receive the money from that particular destination.
Okay, so you have the answer. So you need a company locally in Spain. You need a company locally in France. You might need a company locally in Japan at some point.
Yes.
But you need a holding to control the technologies, marketing globally. But then you need to create it right away, so the investor invest in the mothership. They don't invest in France. They invest in the concept, I guess. But you need to ask them, do you want to invest in us in the French because you're in France, it's a French harbor, or do you want to invest in the holding, which is basically controlling the patent of the software, controlling the marketing, controlling everything, because the rest is just subsidiaries who act locally in order to get subventions. And that's perfectly legal, normal, because you get subvention, you hire locally, you pay tax locally, and then the money and then the benefits are either reinvested locally or sent to the holding system, which is based where you want, and it's legal. That's great. It's a great story, and you have a good reason to do it. That's a perfectly good reason, but don't wait. You need to do it as ASAP, my friends. More difficult it's gonna be.
What part of the planet do you think would be really interesting to have a holding for technology?
Well, people are gonna tell you, if you want to have a holding, put it in a place where you don't pay taxes. It costs a lot of money, and it's very suspicious. So, personally speaking, I would say first step before you're rich, first step is put the holding company where it's not too difficult to make and where the CEO, who's basically holding all that, is living. And then when it's becoming a bit bigger, then you think about the fiscal implication, and then you switch to somewhere else, and you can do it. But so don't pay for an international lawyer to have a holding company based in the Cayman Islands or based in Luxembourg or whatever, when actually it's still a young project, and it can climb fast, but you have time to see how fast it goes, right? And on this, again, you probably need the point of view of a lawyer. It's my personal point of view of an entrepreneur, but what you need here is a lawyer. I've told you already, your two best friends as an entrepreneur are a lawyer and an accountant. You can't play without them. No way. Don't try. It's too risky. It's too dangerous. It's a nightmare. And you're gonna spend time doing things that you don't master instead of trying to gain more clients and building more technology. Make sense? Sorry, it's not that simple, I know, but it's a good news. It's a good problem. You're better that way than not having any idea, not having any investor, not having any reason to get a holding company in place. All those reasons are really good, and what you've done in your Excel sheet is a very good job. Very, very, very good job. So, you're personally thinking, I think you're on a very good track.
Thanks.
You're welcome. But yeah, you should.
But it's not enough.
I know, but you know, Juan, I think that Monday morning you should come and see Fred Buissy and tell him, I need an accountant, I need a lawyer, I need to put in place a holding company, I need an accountant, and within a month I need to have an investor putting down 100,000 euro. So we need to get acting on that. I have already the figures. I'm working on something more summarized. I have already this you can present it. This is perfectly enough to go and say, guys, blah 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 blah. But you need a vision which is much more higher in terms of you're in a meeting with an investor. He's not going to read that. He's going to take it and read it at home with a beer. Check, double check, cross check, third check, send it to another one. But the presentation you need to make to them based on those figures should be something more like this piece of nothing that I showed you. You know this, I'm sorry, Premier, do I still share my screen?
Nope. Can you share again?
Yeah, of course. But where are you guys? You're here.
Do you think Frederick can help us?
Yeah, those things are the things you need to present. You know, expenses, data by quarters, the cash flow. Now, how the expenses are spread, how the revenue is spread throughout the years, how the company is spread throughout the year, and then.
In this one, the number 2, can do again, please. What is exactly each one?
How the expenses are spread throughout the year.
Okay. The breakdown of the expenses. Okay.
The breakdown of expenses, the breakdown of revenues, the breakdown of employees in the company.
Okay, so employees, money coming inside, money going outside.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And by year, so that you can have a view of what's going on. And it's a good way. When you do it, you might be surprised. You might see things you haven't seen by looking at the figures. Maybe not, maybe yes. And this one is just what is the increase in number of clients per industry, what is also the average size of a deal per industry. When I say per industry, I mean per type of client that you have in harbors, cities, B2C. Voila, at least those three things. And with this, you're going to be having a very strong case. I'm happy to review them once you worked on it, no problem, of course.
Thanks.
But right away, Juan, you need to have an accountant working with you next week and meeting with a lawyer and see how he can help you without charging you a fortune. Because you're going to need to have a plan for the holding company right now. You need to be able to articulate a choice to the investors. Do you want to invest in the local company or do you want to invest in the holding company? This is a different idea, and this is why we need it. And what you're giving me as an answer is totally reliable. And if it's not,
we go inside a problem if we ask that question, because if I get only greedy, if I am the board and I want to be a little greedy and say, okay, I'm going to wait you do the holding, and when you are really on check, I invest in that one.
Making a holding once you have a lawyer is a matter of days. There is no technicality. The problem is to do the right contract and the right holding, and for this you need to have the right guy who can tell you what to do. Once you have the right guy who can explain and do it, it's not difficult. Holding company is just a holding company. You have a company and then subsidiaries. It's like it's a no-brainer.
Well, the thing here, I think there's no choice, because like our strategy is to have like one harbor investor in each country. So it doesn't make sense for the Port of Marseille to invest like in the Spanish company.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, it's true.
I think we need to do a really strong case of why it doesn't make sense to go into another subsidiary. But also we need to be really clear that if they decide to wait, it's a problem for us.
Why would they decide to wait?
Because maybe they say, okay, I'm going to the holding. Why? What is stopping them to think it's not in their benefit to wait and go into the holding?
Yeah, but then in that case, if you don't have a holding story, all the figures from Spain, you need to remove them from the slides. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they don't care about if you have another completely different activity in Spain, it's growing fine. They're not putting the money in the Spanish thing, so you know, it's like saying to a friend, "Hey, I'm inviting you in my home in Marseille. Oh, great, let's do this. When? Next weekend. Great. What are we gonna do? Oh, by the way, I have a house in Spain. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a great house. It's nice. You know, let me send you some pictures. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Where are we going? Marseille, right? Yes. So why are you sending me? I don't mind your house in Spain, but you know, I'm coming to Marseille with you, right? So why send me a house from pictures of the house in Spain? It's a bit like that, right?
Okay, so we need to really be clear to split the cost according to the country, to assign correctly the money that goes to that country from sales, and to do the business case and the presentation only of Marseille.
I think it's more reasonable.
Okay, okay. Javi, tenemos trabajo para tirar el techo, pero esta vez llega hasta la terraza.
Yeah.
And don't forget that as soon as there is a holding company, they are going to ask, and you have a good reason to explain that, but they're going to ask, okay, but then who's in control? Do you have other investors in the holding company? Is it, you know, those kind of things? So it has to be very crystal clear the why, but you explain, but also the what is it, what's in it, you know, who's controlling it, If basically the control of the holding company is basically the same people than the control of the French company, there is no brainer. It's just an explanation, and that's fine, and they can understand it. But they will ask it. They will ask for it.
Yeah.
Do you think would be a stop for the investment if they say, no, I don't want to invest in a subsidiary?
Well, you can. I'm thinking loud. You can do it in another way too, because what are they gonna ask in exchange? Any idea?
A higher percentage.
No. What, in the deal right now? They
were not clear. They say that they need to think about that. They are not interested to put one person in the board of the company. They say that the percentage is really small. They can go in a bigger number later, or that is what we understood. But they never put a figure.
Okay. So let's say they ask for 10, 15%. Let's say, for example. Okay. You're still in majority, so you can basically switch and decide about everything and do the holding company the day after they have put down the money.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we can do all the numbers from Marseille, present one big global fucking really huge company, and after they say, sorry, we need to do this action. In majority, we can do it anyway?
Yeah, I'm not speaking about mixing the figures from Spain and Marseille. Huh? We are
Yeah.
Just saying, yeah, present the case just for France.
Yeah.
French market, globally speaking, it's good enough, huh? French market. Okay, this is what you want to do. This is how you want to grow, etc. You don't have to speak about the holding for now, unless they ask what is it for the other companies, what is it about the other harbor, etc. And then once this is done, you put the holding system in place, and you have the other things going on with Spain, for example. Now, the tricky question is, what is the stories that the Harbor of Marseille has in mind right now? Do they want to be partners just for France, or do they want to be partners also about what happens elsewhere? Which is not a problem, because there is a legal entity which is getting the subsidies, the subsidiary, and which is paying people, and which is paying taxes, etc.
Yeah.
Right? But then you have the partnership. The partnership can be done globally. You can say we have an investor partner who's a Harbor of Marseille. Even you can say that in Spain. It doesn't matter to that those entities are globally different, etc. That's why you need a holding in place. It's because then you can link those two companies somewhere about the notion of partnership.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm mixing things here, but it's like probably there is probably something interesting to dig about. So I think there is something which is not clear in my head right now, and you need an advice on that from someone else. Again, probably a lawyer, about do you want to talk about the holding company to the Harbor of Marseille or not? Because you could propose to the Harbor of Marseille to be a partner, a strategical partner, a marketing partner with the holding company. They invest into the subsidiary because it's locally in France for the French market, so they're not going to invest in Spain. But at the same time, they have a partner. They are partnering with the holding company. That's
What do you mean a partner?
That's why I'm thinking I'm thinking that probably for the beginning, it's probably easier if you have the holding company based in France. But it's just an idea. I'm not a lawyer, so this is my limitation. Does it make sense? Does it raise more questions than answers, or is it useful?
I think it's useful, but I have a question.
Yeah.
What kind of partnership do you think in a contract can be good enough to say, as soon as we put the holding, you will have a specific win from here? You will not have part of the company, of the holding, but you will have specific partnership. What do you think could be interesting for them, like a partnership?
Anything that speaks about the Harbor of Marseille internationally is good for them. So if you speak to the Harbor of Marseille, if you speak about the Harbor of Marseille, when you go and see the Harbor of Kobe, it's good for them. When you speak about the Harbor of Marseille in Spain, because it's a partner, it's good for them, right?
But the thing here is that
more difficult. It's yes.
The Harbor of Barcelona, for example, they won't be willing to invest in a company where the Port of Marseille is a shareholder.
That's becoming more tricky here.
Yeah. And our strategy is to have like one harbor shareholder in every country, or one harbor investor.
Well, if they want to invest, if all the harbors want to invest in the same company, you cannot have subsidiaries. That's nonsense.
No, the thing is, they need to invest in different companies.
But that's not what they want to do.
Because the Port of Marseille, for example, they have I don't know, like a public obligation with the city of Marseille and his hinterland and the region. So the actions they do must affect like the region of the south of France, not Spain or Japan or whatever.
Yeah, but then the Harbor of Barcelona wants to invest in the same company where the Harbor of Marseille is investing.
No, in the Spanish company.
But I thought you said that the Harbor of Barcelona wants to invest in this, want to be a shareholder.
No. They won't be. They aren't.
They will not.
Yeah, they will not.
Okay. All right. Okay. Misunderstood. Sorry. So in that case, yeah, you have basically one subsidiary per country and the holding company. The real question is, do you talk about the holding company to the Harbor of Marseille before or after they have invested? I think that transparency is a better leverage than
Yeah.
not explaining things and doing after. So
Yeah.
I think you're better off explaining the strategy, why you do it, and that you want to partner with them with the holding so that the image of the Harbor of Marseille can be spread not only in France but in the other activities of the company globally.
What if they say they don't take care about additional marketing?
In that case, they just invest in the subsidiary in Marseille, and that's it. No problem.
Yeah, for me, what makes sense is that they invest just in the French company, not in the holding, because the holding has shares of the all the rest of the country. So
Yes. So
it's
I don't think they will invest in the holding. I was just saying that the holding can be a way to have a contract of partnership with them,
yeah.
more global than just
Okay.
French one.
Okay. Yeah.
More that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This makes sense.
I
So
know that makes sense, but I still having problems to understand if we present Marseille numbers, French numbers, for all the port of France, we can think makes sense, and after to skip, okay, we are going to need a different strategy to make it much more juicy, I think,
Yeah.
to bring much more scalability to the one they are investing, so they can feel comfortable. It is not just a dummy; it is the real thing by itself.
Uh-huh.
But if the technology is going to not belong to the little one, why they're going to be interested to do something in the little one?
What do you call the little one?
The little one, the little, I mean the French one. If there
Why?
is going to be a legal, better position with all the real technological power and control over the other rest, why they have the interest to invest in the French one?
Just because you're a French startup with a good idea.
I think
yeah,
it's
and
better if
then
we don't speak too much about the global. We just need to say the strategy in the long term. If we go perfectly, and if you sign, and if you become an investor, we can grow in all these places. And we'll be stronger and more organized if we don't mix and we put the technology in a safe.
but the thing
I think
here,
you know what I think? I think it would be easier if actually the holding company is a French company.
Why
I
you
mean,
say so?
wait. No, I mean, I don't mean a French company. I mean, I think, let's say you have, let me name it. You have Guide Me Marseille and you have Guide Me France and Guide Me Spain. Okay. I think you don't need a holding company. I think that the holding company should be the French company. Guide Me France should be the company for France and the holding company. Because in that case, you can speak about the figures from Spain coming into your revenues. It still makes sense. Okay. It still makes sense to have all the figures consolidated as a revenue stream, and the picture is bigger. You could even add Germany, Holland, Japan, whatever. But what happens later is the revenues are going to be generated and coming from subsidiaries. One of them will be the one in Spain, and because there is a subsidiary in Spain, you can get investors from Spain.
but then
But
before
you cannot play both sides. If you have a holding and then every subsidiary is spread at the same level. And yes, Marseille will be a first comer with probably more value for their shares than Madrid, than Barcelona, but that's life, Otherwise, because Barcelona will not invest in France. Okay, that's a fact. Marseille will not invest in Spain. That's a fact. But the first one right now is Marseille. They're ready to invest. You need to give them a bigger picture, of course. That's your point, Juan, right? Removing the Spain figures is not a good idea because it decreases the value of what the story is. So you need to keep this. So if your company in Marseille is also the holding of the other subsidiaries throughout the world, while you have a first comer who pays 100,000 for a big story, and then the other investors will pay for the local stories. Barcelona will pay for investing in a company in Spain who's just spreading is becoming a reference on the Spanish market.
But we already faced like the mental barrier or an ego barrier from the Port of Barcelona, that at the beginning they said no, we don't want to use this solution because it's been created in France or by the Port of Marseille, so we don't want to have this impression.
Yeah, so that's why you need just to have a local subsidiary, but this subsidiary will belong to the holding, which is basically the French company.
Yeah, so the image it gives to Barcelona or Italian ports is that okay, we are working for a company. Okay, it's local, but then the local will report to or will share the profits to a French company, which is our competitor.
Javi, perdón que te corte, pero ahí, perdón, Karim, sorry, I'm going to say something in Spanish. I just realized something, it is like, oops, okay. Javi, creo que ese problema lo vamos a tener igual si tenemos un holding, aunque sea en Croacia, ¿eh? Porque van a decir, ¿qué hace esta empresa croata acá en el medio?
Claro, pero si está en terreno neutral.
¿Qué es terreno neutral? O sea, eso es lo que a mí me cuesta mucho entender. ¿En dónde poner el holding? Porque no veo un neutro.
Yeah.
Entonces yo creo que eso que estás planteando es un problema necesario por lo que estamos nosotros planteando.
I don't know. I just, for example, Italy.
I see your point, huh?
More larger markets.
So let me just tell you something. You will have the same problem if you have a holding company in place.
Exactly. That's what I just said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same problem. So,
but not the same problem, the same question.
Yeah, the same. So yeah, and the same answer, hence probably the same problem. It's like we are reporting to an entity that is not Italian or not Spanish. So at some point, you're not gonna be able to win all the battles. So you need to.
But we have to win like the largest ones or the most important ones.
Yes, I agree. But at some point, you cannot tell every country this technology has been developed and is based in France or in Spain or in Italy, right? It's like it's developed in one place, not 10 places. So if the key to get subventions or investments is to say that the development, the knowledge, the know-how, etc., is developed locally, you're going to have to make a choice because you won't be able to say that to each and every country. It's not going to work.
Yeah, that's the point.
So
I just relate that. It's like, oops.
Yeah. So you need to decide and spread getting the others as clients. And because they are clients, you're going to invest locally. Now, part of the R&D can be done locally. You can hire people locally for R&D, and you can hire people locally to do the work. and that's part of the business. But my company I'm employed for, it's crystal clear. The development, the R&D is in the States. The company is American, and they invest here by hiring people so that they can sell their product and the clients are happy, right? If the client, if the French company is saying we want to invest in your company, well, the guy is going to tell them, yeah, but Americans. So what is the only thing? The least what do you want from me? Can you have some R&D done in here in France? Yeah, why not? Let's say 20% of the R&D. So it's like we have 2,000 people. So I have now 200, 400 people based in France doing, and because of that, I get subventions from the government. That flies. That's good. But if the people from Spain, they want to say that Guide Me Spain is Spanish, developed in Spain by Spanish people, you have a problem here. You cannot tell the same story to everybody. It's gonna blow in your face at some point.
No, but the thing here is to keep neutrality between the ports if they are going to be our investors and promoters.
Yeah, but what do they want in exchange? That comes back to what do they want in exchange? They say we don't want too much shares. We don't want too many shares. Fine. But they are basically telling you we don't want shares, but we don't want what? We don't want you to sell your technology in other harbors, or you can. But then what is it that they don't want? You need to clarify exactly what they mean. Is it the company needs to be? Is it that they just want to be invoiced by a local company? Well, in that case, you have a subsidiary. Or is it just that they don't want they want the company to be acting locally for the presence, sales, and consulting? Well, that's fine too. Or is it more than that? Is it like the R&D needs to be done locally? Or is it more like they want basically the concept and the motherboard of the company, the CEO, or like they want like the headquarter globally of Guide Me World to be based in Spain? That's
no, but the thing is, if the Port of Marseille is in the holding, they will Barcelona or Italian ports. They will want to be in the holding company as well.
Yeah, but then at the same time, you told me that they don't want to invest in something that is not local.
Yeah, that's why I don't see why the Port of Marseille would be willing to invest in a holding company with interest in other ports.
So here there is something that is not clear that you need to clarify with Barcelona. Yeah, with Barcelona and with Marseille. What do they want?
Yeah.
Does it make sense, Juan, or not?
I had the impression we don't have good answers, and that is really disturbing for me, because I had the impression we need to have good answers.
Yeah, but my problem is not to get the good answers. My problem is to understand what is the question right now. Yeah. I don't understand the question they have. I understand your questions, but I don't know the question. What do they want? The question is like, what do they want in order to invest? What do they want exactly? Very precisely.
I asked exactly that question. I put that question literally, and the answer we got is that they still don't have a checklist of what exactly is. Okay, all check, good to go. What are those checks? They haven't pronounced what is those checks.
So you're speaking about Marseille here?
Yeah.
What about Barcelona?
We don't have that answer too.
So you need to dig on that. Because what's happening is you're doing your homework on the finance and you're progressing well, but you cannot go further if you don't have their answer about what they want for this investment. So that's now that the recurring question is from them. What do you want from us? because we are also working with Barcelona, we are working with this and with that. So, and the structure of the company is going to probably depend on the investment you're making. So we need to know what you want. They might say, we don't care. Fine. So in that case, but something like that. But be ready probably to have a local mode. At the same time, you already told the Harbor of Marseille that you're selling the software probably in Barcelona. So to
him, I didn't follow what? Come again?
Yeah. Okay.
You already talked about the Harbor of Marseille in terms of client to the Harbor of Marseille, right?
Yes.
So for him, in his understanding, it is a company in France that is selling to the Harbor of Barcelona, which is a great story because it's a startup, it's French, we can invest in it, and it's already selling internationally. It's good. And it doesn't matter if it's done through a subsidiary. That's good. Where it's more difficult.
But Barcelona isn't buying this.
Voila. That's where you have a problem.
Yeah.
So you need to go back to Barcelona and ask why they don't buy that. What do they want to buy?
It's ego. It's ego. It's pure ego.
So if it's pure ego, you need to make them progress on that. Don't say yes to that. Don't say yes to ego. You need to say yes. You need to say yes to fact. If you start saying yes to ego, you're gonna keep going around and around and around for each and every sale. You need to have a pricing structure in place, a contract in place. You can't act with people who are doing ego thing.
Yeah.
It needs to be facts.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, and I know it is difficult. It's very easy to say that, but when you have a client saying, "Well, guys, I'm not doing," the question is why. The question is, if you don't do it with us, what do you lose? Okay, we are working with the Harbor of Marseille. Okay, fine. If you don't do this fucking project with us, how will you be doing things in 5 years from now? And you just want to not doing this just for pure ego because we work with Marseille? Is this reasonable? That's where you need to bring them.
Javi, ¿crees que existe alguna forma en la que podamos evidenciar eso?
¿Evidenciar el qué?
So, hey, guys, one thing. It's a good news because it means you're entering in a series of negotiations. It's a very good news to have this type of problem.
Yeah.
No, very good news.
For sure.
Guys, I think we should digest.
Yeah.
So why don't we make another call like that Sunday afternoon somewhere? Just to I don't think we need to go more. We need probably to digest this and re-talk about it. If you agree, unless
during the morning for me would be really good. After I cannot. I need to go to find Aurélie in the terminal.
What is define morning?
Morning for me is since 7 a.m. until 12.
Okay. If I tell you around something like 10, 10:30, something like that, makes sense?
Javi, for you?
I'm not sure because I'm going away the weekend.
Otherwise, I can. I don't know my schedule.
No, okay, no, but
Wait, no worries.
Next week, possible Monday, or I don't know, next week anytime.
Monday I can, but it has to be late, like 8 p.m.
8 is okay for me.
It's okay, yeah.
Okay. 8 p.m.
We do like this online.
Yeah, okay. It's way easier. At least online, I'm sure I will be on time.
I hope. I hope. I think you will.
Yeah. I will be. I'm sure.
Okay. I will let you make me believe.
Yeah. I know. So far, I have only problems when it comes to too many things to do, while by physical, going around physically, these things.
Okay.
Okay.
Javi,
Our
for you, it's
thing.
okay? Makes
Yeah.
sense for you?
Yeah. For me, it's great. Yeah.
Javi, ¿tenés un segundo más después o estás medio corto de tiempo?
Voy corto de tiempo.
Ok.
Pero 5 minutos, sí.
Thank you, Karim. Really thank you. A lot of questions and
Yeah.
good questions. Huh?
Okay,
Was
cool. I'm happy it's helpful,
great,
and sorry haven't been able to do this before, literally, but frankly, you did a great job already without me, huh? So all those questions are important, but you're gonna have answers soon. So because you did the homework, so keep working on the homework, and the rest is gonna come.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
It will.
Karim.
It will. Believe me.
Been a great help.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cool.
Javi, ¿te podrías quedar y te hago una pregunta?
¿Sí?
Es que a mí lo que me queda es esto. A ver, ¿qué pasaría si entonces en la historia nos quedamos clavados en la idea de, bueno, a ver, ¿qué es lo que te mostramos hasta ahora? ¿Qué es lo que ya les dimos?
Guys, can I go?
Sí,
Sure.
sorry. Yes, sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Karim.
So Juan, I will
Bye-bye.
call you
One weekend.
to see if we meet later on or not. Yes.
Okay, not a problem. Thanks.
You take
Okay.
care.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Perdón, Javi, lo que decía es, ¿qué es lo que le mostramos hasta ahora a cada uno? A ver, nuestra estrategia es lo que tenemos en nuestra cabeza, pero ¿qué es lo que le mostramos a cada uno? En el técnico que le mostramos al puerto de España, a puertos españoles y todo eso, le mostramos. En la slide, puta, a ver, ¿dónde está? Bueno, hay que
Mercado
buscarla. La de las finanzas,
Somos
¿te
el
acuerdas
mercado
dónde está?
español.
¿Te acuerdas la de el que está en español, el bloque técnico?
Sí.
Lo tienes ahí a mano porque acá no lo encuentro. Pero había una que era la que le habíamos mostrado, era la original, me refiero. Es cómo iban a ser las finanzas.
Sí.
¿Tienes el link a mano? Yo no lo tengo a mano.
Sí. Siempre nos hemos centrado en los puertos españoles.
Pero ¿quién iba a poner la plata? No en las ventas, en las finanzas, ojo. Es que no lo encuentro. ¿Me lo podrías mandar el link, por favor?
Sí.
Estoy buscando como loco. Encuentro cosas que no... A ver, espera.
Karim es una máquina.
Ah, sí, ya, total, ya, sí, ya, 101%, sí. Y no para nunca, o sea, es como yo, tiene esa cosa en la cabeza que es como le da vueltas a 1000 por hora.
O sea, con los puertos españoles siempre hemos hablado del mercado español, no hemos hablado de otros mercados.
Pero no es una cuestión de mercado, es una cuestión de financiamiento.
Financiamiento hemos puesto puertos del Estado, Ports 4.0, inversión del mismo equipo, después un angel investor como Innoport.
Sí.
Y ya está, y préstamo bancario. Y después inversión por puerto.
¿Esta es la versión larga o la versión corta, ¿verdad?
Es la versión larga. ¿Ves a slide 42?
Ah, qué boludo, ya 36, 40. Me pasé, 42. Acá estamos. Acá está. A ver. ¿En dónde dice que invitamos a los puertos a que sean inversores? Porque si acá
Aquí.
no está.
Sí,
Acá está, inversión, préstamo, puertos interesados.
Sí.
¿Y quién está interesado?
Bueno, claro, de momento no hemos hecho la labor comercial si no funciona en España. O sea, no lo hemos ofrecido todavía.
Creo que eso es lo que está diciendo justamente Karim. Nos falta a nosotros dar un paso. ¿Me entendés a lo que voy? Porque yo acá lo miro y digo, ok, ¿qué es lo que está en la mesa? 25, 2%. ¿De qué?
Del equity,
No, sí, ¿de qué empresa?
de la española,
Pero
claro.
¿decimos que es de la española? ¿Es claro que se habla de la española y no de un holding español global? Es lo mismo que nos está pasando acá. Nosotros le pasamos una letra de intención que decía, todo esto, y después le pusimos globales, con una empresa local. Indirectamente lo que dijimos es, tienes números globales de una empresa local. Dijimos holding francés. Entonces yo lo que estoy tratando de mirar un poco para atrás es qué es lo que ellos aprobaron, porque no tenemos ahora la capacidad de ir a preguntarles ahora, a esta hora, un viernes, pero sí tenemos la posibilidad de ver lo que le enviamos y que se aprobaron. Cuando hablaran cuando ellos hablaban con vos, ¿en algún momento existe la posibilidad dentro de la estrategia del puerto de invertir en startups en este año?
Del puerto de Barcelona.
Uh-huh.
No, porque ya han invertido indirectamente con puertos 4.0.
Entonces ya no es más la pregunta que estamos teniendo que responder. ¿Me entendés a lo que voy? Yo creo que nuestra hipótesis era tan fuerte que nos dejamos llevar mucho por esto y mantener esta hipótesis nos va a meter realmente en este tipo de problemas que parecen de momento jaque mate.
Pero yo veo más jaque mate. O sea, yo creo que es mejor intentar que cada puerto entre en la sociedad local.
Sí, eso no es malo, eso está bien, yo eso lo comparto y creo que eso es lo que se va a dar naturalmente. Pero creo que lo que tenemos que mantener es el speech correcto. Como dijo, es algo, a ver, es medio estúpido lo que voy a decir, pero es lo que dijo Karim también y a mí me quedó como, al escucharlo de él se me aclaró en el cerebro. Mira, te lo repito de otra forma, totalmente diferente. Hoy invertís en mí. Yo mañana decido hacer lo que tenga ganas, porque tengo mayoría.
Sí.
Bueno, ahora vos sos el puerto de España, vos ves una empresa que está local, que ganó algo local y que tiene plata para hacer un factor de innovación. O sea, tecnología, literalmente. El cual ya fue aprobado por puertos del Estado. ¿Invertirías en esa empresa a sabiendas de que la real tecnología está afuera? Porque eso va a ser, no importa dónde esté el holding, va a ser la pregunta.
No, sí, claro. A ver, claro, que la tecnología esté fuera, pues.
Ahí es donde va a chocar.
Sí, no creo que haya ningún problema ahí. Yo lo digo por el problema que ya encontramos.
Sí, yo también, o
al
sea,
principio de
eso
todo
soy. Ya,
con Catalina y con Mar.
que fue el único problema para ingresar, literalmente. Fue el único problema para ingresar, porque fuera de eso, si ponemos una presentación en donde dice que la empresa es de local, gana.
Ya.
Entonces no es un problema de mercado, es un problema de presentación al mercado. Entonces yo creo que tenemos que trabajar de vuelta el storytelling.
Claro. Pero entonces, ahora supongamos, Puerto Barcelona dice, ok, vale, invierto. Entonces, quiero saber quiénes son los inversores y apareceremos tú y yo y el puerto de Marsella.
Ahí no la veo, para nada.
Ya.
Ahora, ¿qué pasaría si mirar la línea de tiempo? Creo que el problema es que lo estamos mirando todos juntos, el futuro
Igual
y el
sí.
presente simultáneamente. Y creo que tenemos que, si separamos literalmente en cuotitas, va a hacer más sentido. Mira, te hago el storytelling completo. Vos sos el puerto Barcelona y yo soy el de la startup. Te vengo y me presento y te digo, mira, lo que tengo hasta ahora es haber ganado el Smart Port Challenge en Marsella y hasta ahora tenemos el holding en Marsella. y tenemos una empresa subsidiaria acá. Pero si tú inviertes, la intención es que exista una empresa holding y transformar ambas empresas que son locales en subsidiarias de la empresa de la tecnología. No obstante, como las intenciones de hacer todos los esfuerzos a favor de todo lo que es este puerto con esta ciudad y mejorar estas relaciones, va a haber un equipo dedicado que es para este país. En esa empresa que va a hacer todos estos esfuerzos, ahí es donde creemos que se corresponde por sus intereses para que realmente inviertan en esa empresa. Y ya no sería una empresa de Francia o algo. Por el pasado no lo podemos quitar, si no tendríamos que quitar el por Chanes ganado. Entonces, yo creo que hasta ahí, entonces yo diría, y es tan bueno que el puerto de Marsella también aprobó ese punto. Ahora, que lo haya aprobado o no, fíjate cómo lo digo entre comillas, porque no importa. Porque si tenemos la mayoría, podemos, entre comillas, atropellar eso o decir, lo aprobó porque yo lo aprobé y ya somos la mayoría y se acabó. La voz del puerto de Marsella no va a tener la capacidad de negarse a nada que digamos o negociemos después. Eso es a lo que voy. Entonces, si en la storytelling mencionamos que dimos el primer paso con una empresa local y cambiamos el storytelling y decimos, primero acá decimos, es la empresa, va a ser esta, todo es global, la. Después decimos, uy, lo lamento, no nos pueden parar. Como no nos pueden parar, pues quiere decir que tenemos 100% capacidad de negociar lo que tengamos ganas con el próximo puerto. Entonces la pregunta es, dado que la situación hacia el pasado no la vamos a poder cambiar, ¿cómo es el storytelling que le vendemos a cada puerto? Porque este ejercicio con un puerto lo vamos a tener con todos.
Pero por eso creo que en la holding deberíamos estar tú y yo solo, no debería haber ningún puerto.
Totalmente de acuerdo. Totalmente de acuerdo. Por eso digo que el holding va a aparecer místicamente después. Pero después de que primero, o sea, en la primera versión de storytelling, ahora sos Marsella nada más. Yo vengo y te digo, mira, vamos a hacer una global de la puta madre, va a reventar el mercado por todos lados. Y la respuesta que escuchamos fue, no nos interesa la plata.
Claro.
Entonces digo, ok, no te das problema. Entonces todo lo que pasa por otro lado queda en otro lado. Ah, ok, listo, hasta ahí lo van a entender. Ahora, y por eso necesitamos hacer un holding para realmente que esta empresa sea organizada a nivel internacional y que siga las reglas internacionales.
Claro, pero si les ponemos los números con los datos de España, con los datos de Italia y tal, ellos están invirtiendo para esos números, no para solo los de Francia, que son los que se quedarían al final.
Por eso es muy interesante lo de discriminar Francia y decir, entendemos que ustedes no están atrás de los números con un inversionista normal, ustedes son el puerto. Ustedes invierten por los intereses locales y que nuestro foco sea un rayo láser para justamente los beneficios del puerto.
Exacto.
Ahí está, y este es el argumento, ¿me entendés? Entonces, ahí no va a haber un problema en disasociar las fuentes de ingreso con los esfuerzos que ellos son los que están buscando de nosotros, que nosotros hagamos esos esfuerzos.
No sé, yo creo que hay algo que no estoy viendo, ¿eh? Pero es que, claro, no entiendo por qué hay que hacerlo y deshacerlo y no hacerlo separado desde el principio.
Porque lo que dice él es, primero hay que ganar uno, por lo visto. ¿Y cómo lo ganamos? Con lo que tenemos. ¿Dónde lo tenemos? Hoy lo tenemos acá. Entonces es seguir con la corriente y después hacer lo que queremos.
Vale. Vale,
Es más,
bueno, si se puede hacer.
es que se puede, eso es a lo que voy.
Vale,
es más,
vale.
ellos dijeron que no estaban interesados en un asiento. Nosotros ya hasta lo ofrecimos.
Y
Decían,
nosotros
ok, gracias, pero realmente no están, lo dijeron bien clarito, no están interesados.
Sí.
Lo que hagamos después, no les importa. Así que lo que hagamos después no importa. ¿Para
claro,
qué?
pues por eso, si no les importa, ¿por qué no les damos los números de Francia y ya está?
Ahora tengo un ruido con una moto que decide hacer, no sé, baile con una... Bueno, ojalá que se caiga y se rompa la cabeza.
Si no les importa el porcentaje o el dinero, la facturación, los beneficios, ¿por qué no les damos los números de Francia y ya está?
Porque si vamos a lo que ya mostramos números globales.
Yeah.
Ahora lo que hay que mostrar esto es los números de Francia en el global. Y en el global nuestra intención es generar subsidiarias. Esa es la parte del storytelling que vamos a estar organizando ahora en un formato correcto, legal, y después vamos a cambiar apenas esté firmado todo. Decimos, no, ahora queremos hacer un holding, queremos poner la tecnología aparte, y no nos pueden parar en ese punto. Entonces yo lo que digo es, si lo separamos en la línea de tiempo, ¿qué decimos hoy? ¿Qué decimos después de la firma?
Yeah.
¿Se puede hacer? Sí. ¿Les interesa realmente ver adentro? Y no les interesa ver qué hay adentro.
Entonces, a Barcelona o los puertos italianos o los puertos españoles, ¿qué les mostraríamos? ¿Los datos solo españoles?
Exacto. Ahora que ya aprendimos, sí mostraríamos los datos locales. Diríamos, invertirás en esta empresa que es dueña a título de nombre y persona de personas que también tienen la tecnología, y la tecnología está justamente dada para ser usada. Y la intención es seguirla mejorando porque sabemos que es una problemática global de puertos. Y por tanto vamos a tener, para entender mejor la realidad y adaptar la tecnología a la realidad local, personas que están siendo pagadas literalmente por el subsidio de Puertos 4.0, que es español. Y para adaptar a la realidad y para hacer los esfuerzos locales reales que están alineados con sus intereses locales, vamos a tener un equipo local. Y ahí sí va a valer la pena que ellos inviertan en la empresa que hace lo que ellos necesitan. Pero la verdad es que estamos separando, cortando literalmente hasta cierto punto un storytelling, que decimos que lindo es la vida, ¿sí? Y en el otro es, pumba, hacemos lo que queremos y vamos a tener que adaptarnos para poder tener un storytelling que sea adaptable a cada situación. Entonces, sí es verdad que si en cada lugar al que vamos creamos una empresa nueva con vos y yo y nadie más, aunque sea independiente, indirectamente, en la realidad, vos y yo somos el holding como personas físicas.
Sí, claro, es que en la sociedad local no tenemos que figurar tú y yo. Tiene que figurar el holding.
Claro, pero si empezamos siempre igual, la forma de empezar hasta conseguir el primer inversor puerto va a ser la misma. Persona física, que también participamos en una empresa que está en el culo del mundo que a nadie le importa. Eso sí lo podemos replicar. El problema es empezar con el holding. ¿Me entendés? Yo sé que es medio maquiavélico lo que estoy diciendo, porque es básicamente cambiar el storytelling después de que algo pase, pero es casi eso, básicamente lo que estoy diciendo.
O sea, yo haría un poco lo que ha dicho Karim, de ir de frente al puerto de Marsella, ser totalmente transparentes y deciros, oye, vosotros invertís en la sociedad francesa. Después nosotros tenemos que expandirnos en otros países y no tiene sentido que vosotros estéis aquí. Porque no nos facilitará abrir negocio en otros países que vosotros estéis aquí.
Ahí estaríamos peleando contra el mismo ego, contra el mismo caballito de ego. Yo lo que digo es algo diferente. Por eso digo, para evitar todo el problema del ego, digo lo que quieran escuchar. Digo que ahora es el paso cero y después vamos a cambiar y tenemos que quedar bien en claro que, dado que vamos a ir creciendo en países en donde la necesidad local requiere una empresa local, para esos momentos vamos a necesitar que al menos una empresa sea un holding. Pero no digamos cuál. No seamos bobos, no nos prendamos fuego. Yo lo que digo, una empresa tendrá que ser holding. Y el problema de que sea holding es que en la estrategia de crecimiento va a haber ese problema de que una empresa extranjera trae una solución extranjera y probablemente no la acepten. Por tanto, La estrategia de crear empresas afuera que van a ser luego subsidiarias consta de 2 etapas. Al principio se crea con nombre y apellido tuyo y mío y nada más. Luego empieza a tener la capacidad de justamente de ser insertada correctamente en el mercado.
No, pero yo creo que el siguiente, o sea, después de la francesa y la española, la siguiente ya la debería crear el holding directamente, ¿no?
No, ese es el problema, porque a ver, vamos de vuelta al problema inicial. Una empresa que está controlada por algo de afuera, no me meto. Se acabó. Ese es el problema.
Yeah.
Entonces yo digo, ¿qué pasaría si hacemos como hicimos en España? Una empresa local, totalmente nueva, pero a nombre de 2 personas físicas.
Yeah.
Que luego estas 2 personas físicas van a integrar lo que no se haya podido poner en inversión con un puerto adentro del holding. Obviamente, esa parte, ese segundo paso, no se lo contamos a nadie. Eso es a lo que voy. Porque de todas formas, lo que inviertan, sea lo que sea, no nos van a sacar nunca la mayoría. Entonces, automáticamente, tac, hacemos esto.
Yeah.
Dado que tenemos la mayoría, podemos hacerlo, pero la estrategia de insertarnos en el mercado y conseguir al inversionista, al puerto local, eso es lo que tenemos que ir alrededor del ego, pero no pelearlo. Entonces volvemos, de hecho, básicamente a la propuesta original que te había dicho, que los dos estemos en los dos lados, que era lo que obviamente nos estaban preguntando acá. Ah, justo cuando se cortó. Porque a mí me habían dicho, bueno, entonces, ¿cuánta plata vos invertís? Y yo, no, en plata no, él ya es parte, falta incluirlo en los papeles. Y vamos a hacerlo en el mismo paso, para no tener que hacer todo el tiempo a papeles. En el mismo paso se va a reconocer la inversión y se va a reconocer a vos. Vos como persona.
Claro, pero la cosa es que ellos entonces dirán, ah, pero si yo pongo 100 y me quedo un 5, un 10, un 15%, porque él se queda, si pone 0 o poco, porque se queda...
Esa es la misma pregunta que te decía antes, que teníamos que hacer todo esto antes para que sea preexistente y aceptado.
Hostia, no sé, o sea, yo lo veía clarísimo antes y ahora no lo veo nada claro, la verdad.
Para mí la claridad tiene que estar en el punto de que ahora ellos tienen la misma pregunta que yo te advertí que van a tener, que es esa. O sea, los dos tenemos que existir, sí. ¿Y ellos van a invertir en una empresa donde existan personas? Sí. Después lo que hagan las personas no importa. Y tiene que quedar bien en claro que en la negociación es, nosotros luego vamos a armar en el futuro lejano, a costo cero, una donación a costo cero, a precio igual cero, una donación de aporte de nuestras acciones a otra empresa futura. Y se acabó la historia, no tenemos que decirles más.
Claro, por eso yo no hace falta que aparezca en la sociedad francesa.
Y sí, vas a tener que estar al principio, porque si no el storytelling no lo podemos aplicar.
Holding, tú haces la aportación de tu 90% y yo el 100% de la española y ya está. Y hacemos el 50% en el holding.
Yo creo que no.
Pues eso que hablamos con Carlos el otro día.
Pero, ¿cómo replicas esto con Barcelona? En Barcelona, a ver, mostrame la otra. Y la otra es un monstruo que ya tiene 2 patas, una que está con un puerto, que no tiene nada que ver con el suyo, y además tiene un holding que está en Dios sabe dónde. Ya es como que...
No, porque al final, o sea, Marsella tiene la sociedad francesa, el 10% de la francesa, Barcelona el 10% de la sociedad española, Roma el 10% de la sociedad italiana.
Pero no sabemos que a ellos les interesa invertir o no. Ni siquiera sabemos si está dentro de la estrategia local de invertir plata localmente.
Yeah.
Entonces, por eso te digo que nos estamos agarrando mucho del concepto que nosotros queremos replicar y por ese motivo estamos embarrando el storytelling ahora, que es el máximo que podríamos hacer para que sea lo más sencillo posible. Porque el día de mañana, o sea, no es por una cuestión de facilidad, es una cuestión de aceptabilidad. ¿Nos va a costar plata? Sí, seguro, pero no es el punto. El punto es que acepte y que la plata esté y que sean realmente inversionistas. Y ahí es donde quiero llegar. Quiero llegar a ese punto. Después somos mayoría, no importa nada. Porque no importa lo que se negocie, al 100% le quitamos lo que ellos agarran y lo que nos queda lo dividimos en dos. Después, qué casualidad, somos mayoría y hacemos lo que queremos. O sea, ese segundo paso lo dejaría realmente luego, pero luego quiere decir, o sea, automáticamente después. Pero primero que la plata esté y ahora el storytelling debería ser, que en lo que le presentamos es, acá están todos los números globales, esta es la intención, en esta idea de crecimiento exponencial y todo eso es lo que estás realmente invirtiendo, pero como estás asociado exclusivamente a los intereses de acá, nuestro interés es que entiendas que ahora tenemos la estrategia de crear el mercado correctamente, pero necesariamente vamos a vender las acciones a costo cero a una empresa extranjera que va a ser un holding de tecnología.
Vale.
Y se terminó la historia, porque es la única forma de crecer en cada uno de los puertos, porque si no, no puedes ganar el puerto 4.0, no se puede ganar el Smart Port Challenge, no se puede ganar nada en Italia,
Claro.
no se puede ganar nada en ningún lado. Entonces es un paso
O sea,
necesario.
al final es lo... Ok, entonces es al final lo mismo que habíamos hablado, pero en vez de
Exacto.
hacer la aportación cada uno de la respectiva compañía, es entrar cada uno al 50% en cada una de las dos.
Exacto, es un paso intermediario para que el storytelling cierre. Entonces el storytelling se puede repetir en todos lados, porque ahora nos vamos a Italia, hoy. Ponemos una empresa en Italia hoy, en 50 y 50. Ya está. ¿Y cuál es el storytelling para que el puerto de lo que sea ponga plata? Somos una empresa local, somos startup, venimos con la tecnología preexistente, necesitamos plata para mejorarla a la realidad, exactamente igual que Puertos 4.0. Eso sí lo podemos replicar. Y después, el día de que tenemos un inversionista adentro, ¡ay, qué casualidad! Acá está, adentro. Y cae dentro del holding.
Yeah.
¿Por qué? Porque tenemos la mayoría, porque realmente ya vamos a tener esa dinámica. Yo lo que digo es,
Bueno,
el
y
paso necesario.
después ya será más fácil, o sea,
Espero que
debería ser más
sí.
fácil.
Espero que sí.
Si es una solución global, ya no hay
Pero
que
el ego sigue
venir
siendo local. Entonces no podemos ir con una empresa holding a decirle, hola, ¿qué tal? Soy el grande, tengo tu solución. No, no funciona así. Por eso acá dicen co-crear la solución, no vengas con una solución.
Yeah,
Lo dicen bien clarito.
yeah.
Pero si somos dos personas físicas que nos sentamos en Italia y nos quedamos 3 semanas, hacemos todo lo que haga falta en papeleo y nos quedamos haciendo una suerte de Smart Port Challenge por 3 meses, alguno de los dos o una persona nueva, lo que sea,
Sí, sí.
son personas, no es holding.
Yeah.
Entonces el storytelling lo podemos mantener y eso sí lo podemos replicar. Y como a la empresa de cualquiera, a la empresa francesa no le va a interesar las ventas porque el interesado es realmente es el puerto, tiene intereses locales, que existan vos y yo poniendo empresas en el culo del mundo no le importa. No tiene ni siquiera por qué saberlo. Yo lo que digo es, mantengamos el storytelling que mostramos hasta ahora. Mantengámoslo. Entonces, al día del
Yeah.
papel donde se firma, ¿qué se firma? Que aparece en el estatuto A, B, C. Puerto de Marsella, yo, vos. Porcentajes, lo que hayan tomado, que no me importa para nada lo que tomen, y lo que queda dividido 2. Entonces en el papel ya estamos, ya está. Después salimos, creamos la cantidad de empresas que querramos, pero apenas veamos realmente que ya estamos para hacer el holding, lo hacemos. O sea, si es posible, el día siguiente, la semana siguiente.
Yeah.
Más que nada porque no tengo la menor intención en pagar impuestos locales en Francia a esos números.
No, es que, bueno, esta era otra cosa, ni en España ni en Francia, ni en Italia, o sea, es abusivo, no.
Lo de Estonia cada vez me suena más lindo, ¿eh?
Sí, sí.
Estonia, no sé ni el nombre.
Sí, sí, eso está claro. Eso es abusivo, es un robo.
Sí. Yo lo que propongo es un año de tantear este storytelling, de poner caras, nuestras caritas, y vamos corriendo para todos lados.
Sí,
Hola, 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 hola. Pero apenas hay un inversor puerto, ya no privado, ¿eh? Si es privado nos puede mandar a free churros enseguida. Nadie es tan idiota. Pero un puerto, mira su ombligo.
sí, sí, sí.
Entonces el storytelling es una empresa española, es una empresa italiana, es una empresa portuguesa. Mierda, voy a tener que aprender muchos idiomas.
Que está, vale, que está invirtiendo en una solución global, eso sí.
Vos no sabés alemán, ¿no?
No,
¿Querés aprenderlo?
no, demasiado complicado, no tengo tiempo.
Ah.
Italiano sí,
Bueno, entonces a vos te toca Italia. Yo agarro Portugal porque se me hace más fácil.
¿vale?
Ahora, alemán, no conozco a nadie que sepa alemán. Ah, sí, conozco a
Sí,
una
sí,
persona
yo
que sepa alemán.
conozco bastante gente.
Bueno, entonces tenemos que alinear ahí los idiomas. Chabón, es irónico, pero tenemos que empezar a reclutar por la facilidad de trabajar con personas, no por lo que sepan.
Ya.
Y sí, o sea, es un hecho fáctico. Necesitamos poder trabajar con. A ver, ¿qué más? Bueno, ¿te cierra o no la ves ni de casualidad?
No, sí, o sea, sí, el discurso este de invertir en una solución global, pero que al final será la sociedad local, sí, eso sí. O
Que
sea,
siempre, o sea, la puerta de entrada es el ego. Es algo
lo
que
que no
ellos.
veo, lo que no veo es lo que había entendido yo que era meter a cualquier puerto por encima de otro.
No, eso
Da
no.
igual el que sea.
Es que eso no. A ver, ¿cuántos puertos van a entrar como inversores máximo por país? Uno. Uno. Una vez que ponga plata a Barcelona, no creo que lo haga Tenerife.
Ya.
O sea, la verdad la veo por ese camino. Yo no veo que ellos tengan la intención o el interés.
Ya.
Ah, Las Palmas va a poner plata porque Tenerife lo puso. No. Es Las Palmas o Tenerife o Barcelona o Valencia.
Ujú.
Entonces yo lo que digo es, mantengamos el storytelling, que es de insertarnos el monopolio a través del más grande. Ok, me queda claro. Acá es lo más pedorro que hay en el planeta, pero es lo más grande. Marsella. Allá, por lo menos en Barcelona, están bien adiestrados, ya tienen, hablan hasta inclusive, hablan inglés. O sea, cosas que acá sabés que andan, viste lo que es.
Ya.
Acá leen los documentos durante la reunión, o sea, ni siquiera se preparan para las reuniones. Bueno, pero por lo menos entran como inversionista.
Sí, sí, sí.
Entonces, si lo mantenemos en esta manera, el storytelling ahora sería, te muestro todos los números y todos los costos unificados porque ahora la realidad es esta y nuestra ambición es enorme. ¿Y cómo lo van a hacer? A través de subsidiarias.
Sí, sí.
¿Y cómo va a llegar la plata acá? Es una subsidiaria. A ver, mostrame los documentos. Ahora están en este estado porque es nuevo y en el paso legal que vamos a dar, con tu plata vamos a empezar a incorporarnos. ¿Cómo? De esta manera. Primero va a aparecer en la primera etapa mi nombre para complementar el tuyo y ya va a estar ahí. Y luego vamos a buscar un inversor local, igual que acá. Y luego vamos a solucionar el problema del holding together. Ahí está.
Sí,
Lo
sí, sí.
cerramos ahí. Marsella no tiene que ser más nada. Si el día de mañana, o sea, literalmente mañana, al día siguiente de la firma, hacemos el holding, no tiene por qué enterarse que existe. Y cuando nosotros ya tengamos bien asentado acá a Marsella y contento, ahí listo, pum, limpiamos.
A otro. Sí, sí.
Y ahí sí podemos traer un inversor privado al holding. Porque al privado al holding directo.
Sí, sí, claro, privado. Si pone 1 millón, pues sí, 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 de cabeza. Claro. Vale. Bueno, lo que ha dicho Karim también, tendremos que buscar un contable y un abogado que nos...
El contable que tengo sirve para no pagar impuestos nada más. No atiende ni el teléfono.
Vale.
No.
Hombre, también son importantes estos contables.
Sí, pero con el ego que tienes, de vuelta.
Ya. A ver, él ha dicho en IMM o la cámara
Sí,
de
porque él
comercio.
conoce a alguien de IMM, es por eso. Tomalo de quien viene. Él conoce a gente ahí, entonces él propone lo que él conoce.
Claro, pero quizás, no sé, IMM nos puede facilitar... no sé si hay alguien de ellos que sea contable y nos pueda
Sé
ayudar.
de alguien que puede hacer de contable a último segundo, pero nos va a costar un poquito caro, un poquito bastante.
Vale, no, me refiero yo que sé, a raíz del Smartport Challenge o algo así, ¿no hay como algún
No,
beneficio para startups o
no,
para empresas?
tampoco, no.
Ya,
No, acá te digo, están todo el mundo en la misma condición de descubrir. No están realmente sabiendo lo que hacen.
ya. Bueno, pues habrá que buscarlo.
Puedo conseguir, pero nada. El punto es que tiene que ser rápido, disponible y tiene que solucionar ahora.
Ya.
Más que nada tiene que hablar en castellano, por lo menos
Pero
español, para que...
tiene que estar en Francia.
Sí, ese es el punto. Contadores que tengan esas tres características, que además estén en Francia y que sepan lo de Francia, va a estar caro.
Ya. Complicado.
No es complicado, es caro.
Ya.
O sea, por eso te digo, alguien tengo en la mente, pero la verdad es que no sé cuánto nos va a pasar. Y también tengo una abogada que también participa dentro del IMM y participa, es de París, es demasiado buena, todo lo que vos quieras, pero cualquier cosa a último segundo. Para que esa chica se mueva un poco el culo, la tuve que invitar a salir. Y después lo hizo de favor. Pero ahora
Pues
estoy de novio,
vaya.
no puedo, ¿me entendés? Tengo como esas fricciones de... O sea, podemos conseguir, pero no es la opción que quisiera traer. Es como, ¿existe una solución? Sí. ¿Es la solución Z? Sí. Vamos a salir de esta, seguro. Pero esa no es la solución que quisiera tomar ahora. Quiero ver si conseguimos cualquier otra cosa antes.
Ya.
Bueno, nada, a pensar. A pensar, a pensar.
Bueno,
¿Qué más?
sí.
Si
Te
vos
tengo que
conseguís a alguien de...
dejar.
Ah, ahí está, mirá, a ver.
Dime.
KPMG. ¿No es global?
Sí,
¿Y no ganamos Puerto 4.0?
sí.
¿Y no le podemos preguntar si dentro de su equipo global no hay alguien que nos ayude localmente en Francia?
Pues quizás sí.
¿No es hora de decirle hola, qué tal al señor Kim?
Aquí, pues es el momento. Tienes toda la razón.
Ahora es el momento adecuado para decirle al grandote, ok, ¿qué tanto experto estás en Francia? Y además con Luis, yo quiero juntarme con Luis seguro, hay tantas cosas que nos quedaron pendientes
Sí,
de esa
bueno, ese
conversación.
es un bestia.
Sí, sí, y es un cliente.
Eh.
Por ese motivo me gusta más.
Bueno, no, la verdad, la charla con Karim, muy buena, ¿eh?
Sí, muchas preguntas. Empecé a pasar los números en una nueva solapa. A ver, yo lo que no quiero es que nos pase es que, como en el archivo en el anterior, que era tan grande que colapsó y no se podía abrir. Entonces tengo un poco de miedo por ese lado, pero estoy poniendo los números. No voy a hacer los gráficos, pero los números para hacer los gráficos.
Bueno, yo hago una copia por si acaso en el
Por
ordenador.
favor, sí.
Pero sí, a mí me ha quedado muy claro, los tipos de gráfico que sugería.
¿Ah, sí? Ah,
Sí.
yo creo que lo entendí porque tomé notas y saqué un par de screen de pantallas y nada. Ah, se sigue grabando, dicho sea de paso. Espera, dame un segundo, voy a
Vale.
pararlo. Stop recording.